good afternoon, and a very good evening to you. We're going to people of the tube. Hope you are today. Hope you are feeling grand and all is well in your world. Hello there, everybody. Today's vid, everybody, is episode 1 of I don't know what I'm calling this series yet. How to play guitar blues-wise solo thing from the Black Lagoon of blues life. I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm calling this series yet, but when this video goes out, it will have a lovely title. So anyway, but it's all about blues soloing. I thought I would start a series where basically I can teach like blues licks, blues styles. You know, people like Peter Green, Roy Gallagher, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimi Hendrix. You know, other people as well. Like, you know, looking to people like B.B. King, Howlin' Wolf. Well, he didn't play guitar, but you know what I mean. That kind of music. So that'd be Hubert Sumlin, technically. You know, also people like, you know, Danny Kerwin, Buddy Guy, you know, that kind of thing. I'm going to try and cover, like, you know, that blues kind of genre. So that's what this series is about, everybody. I don't know how many parts are going to be, and the really cool thing is I shouldn't have to worry about copyright too much if I just keep it kind of like improvisational and in the style of. So, anyway, so I thought what would be a really cool thing to do is like an introduction video to this kind of series, because obviously there'll be many parts of this series, which I'm really looking forward to doing. Actually, I don't know why I've never done this before, because I love playing blues guitar. I'm also going to talk at some point too about Robert Johnson and kind of like Son House, stuff like that. So slide guitar, acoustic blues as well. So it's not just going to be electric; it will be acoustic as well. So, yeah, I thought today for the first introductory video, it would be really cool just to learn like a very simple, basic, but not really, blues solo. So I'm going to teach you what you heard in the intro, basically note for note, so you can kind of go away and play with that to your heart's content. And also at the end of this video, what I'm going to do, I'm going to let the backing loop just play and play and play for maybe about 5 minutes. So you've got, you know, at the end of this video, you can put this solo into practice and also kind of start being a little bit more improvisational, so to say. So, without further ado, I'm going to get my chair. I'm going to bring the guitar in a little bit closer, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the theory of where this solo comes from before we get into actually learning it, just so you know where we're going with it. So, this blues is just going to be in B minor. It's a simple blues in B minor. And so we have, well, I'll talk about that in a sec. So let's get the chair in and get the camera in close. Okay, people of the tube, let's get into this then. Okay, so, like I say, this song is going to be in B minor. This is where we're going to start. And for the first maybe 2 or 3 episodes, we're going to work on this backing before we start kind of going into kind of different styles, different genres, and all that kind of, well, different genres of blues and stuff like that. We're just going to work on getting our kind of like blues chops up, if you will, and just kind of like getting into the kind of like the feel of it. So we're going to focus on B minor. I like B minor. It's a nice kind of like, it's a nice key to solo in. It's really cool, nice and bluesy. But we will be doing other keys as well. And I'm also going to talk about how to translate some of these guitar licks over to different keys when we get to that. So, but today, we're just going to focus on B minor. So, the scale we're mainly going to be using is B minor pentatonic. So, it'll be this. So, it'll start off on the 7th fret on the low E, then to the 10th fret low E, then we're going to go down to the A string 7th fret, A string 9th fret, D string 7th fret, D string 9th, G string 7th, G string 9, B string 7, sorry, doi, and then B string 10, and then high E string 7, and high E string 10. So, you know, it's the foundations, building blocks of rock guitar, this is. So I'm sure a lot of you know it, but if anybody doesn't, this is where we're going. We're also going to take a couple of notes out of the the D major pentatonic scale here. Namely, this bottom 5. Okay, so 11th fret on the G string. So forget the top half at this point in time. We're not going to be using that today. We will get to that, but at this point in time, only focus on this. So 11th fret G string, 10th fret B, 12th fret B, 10th fret high E, and 12th fret high E. So, and if there's anything I get wrong, hopefully you can see if I fluff something when I speak, because I'm not very good with speaking. Okay, so, but these are the scales. And that's all we're going to focus on today. But we are going to use some extra notes outside of this box. But at this point in time, this is where we kind of want to be living, so to say. And this is like the bedrock of soloing in blues style. So, the chords. Let's talk about the chords of this 12-bar blues. So the first chord we've got is a B minor. So I'm going to have to... I play with a thumb over, but like traditionally, if you want to call it traditional, it'd be a B minor, it'd be like this. So it's basically, first finger is barring all of the 7th fret over all the strings, and then your ring finger is on the 9th fret on the A, and your little finger is on the 9th fret on the D. So that's our one chord, that's our first chord. The second chord we're going to play is like a D major 7, but it's kind of like not a full D major 7. We're just going to play this kind of triad, D major 7. E major 7. My gravy Jones, everybody, you see. He's not very good at speaking, but he tries. You know, you got to pat him on the back for trying. Okay, so it's an E major 7, but it's not a full one because we don't have this finger. We're just basically doing like a triad, but we're going to play the low E string on the rhythm. So it's open low E string, and then our middle finger wants to be on the 7th fret on the A. First finger wants to be on the 6th fret on the D, and then our ring finger wants to be on the 7th fret on the G. Okay, so that's our second chord. And then our last chord is the exact same shape, but this time it is just a triad, which means just 3 notes. And it's an F sharp major 7. So we're basically playing the 9th fret on the A, the 8th fret on the D with our first finger, and the 9th fret on the G string with our ring finger. So it's exactly the same shape as the E, but we're just not putting the low bass note in. We're just going to play the little triad there, basically. So the whole progression basically goes around like this. So it goes from, and this is called a quick change. And the reason it's called a quick change is it goes B minor, and then it quickly goes to an E major 7, then it goes back to a B minor. Now, a non-quick change blues is one that will stay on this B minor, the 1 chord, for 4 bars straight. It will not go to the E. So it'll just go 1 bar, 2 bars, 3 bars, 4 bars, and then it'll go to the E. A quick change will go 1 bar, and then 1 bar of E, and then back to 2 bars of B. So that's called a quick change blues. So that's what this is. This is a quick change. So the whole thing, our progression here. So if you want to jam this with your friends, which is always fun, and well, and if you've got a looper, this is how you'll get the backing for it. So it's a B minor, and then we change to the E major 7, and then back to the B minor. And the picking pattern doesn't really matter, just anything you want really. You could strum it if you want. So that's enough on the B. We're going to go to E, and hold for 2 bars. Then we go back to the B. Okay, so we're coming to the turnaround now. So F sharp, major 7, and then E major 7, and then B minor, E, B, and finish up on the F sharp, and then it starts again. Okay, so that's the chords. That's kind of the order of it. So it's just, usual 12 bar. And over the top of that, we're going to be using those scales predominantly. We will be, like I say, we will be using a couple of notes outside of that. But at this point in time, as kind of like introductory lesson thing, I just want us to focus on this kind of thing, and also bending. So let's talk about bending quick. So we are going to do some kind of like blues bends and stuff like that. So basically, these are going to be mainly on the high E, and it's going to be up a tone. B upper tone on the 10th fret, then G on the 9th fret upper tone, and that's going to be basically it. We're not going to go any further. Oh, we're also going to bend up. Sorry, I forgot. We're going to bend up the 12th fret a tone as well. But other than that, we're not going to do anything kind of crazy at this point in time. Going to try and keep it as kind of simple and as feel-based as possible, because, you know, I always feel it's kind of like you've got to leave space to let it breathe with blues, yeah, especially this kind of slow blues. You know, you can shove it full of notes, but it has to be at the right moment, you know what I mean? And it has to be in the right time, it has to be the right feel, you know, the song has to be at the right kind of point, so to say, you know, but you've got to, other than that, it's got to breathe. So, anyway, so let's move on to the teaching of the guitar solo you heard in the intro jam. So, the first thing we're going to do here is this lick. Okay, so this is a very, very standard, awesome blues lick that is just timeless. So, what we're going to do here to start, we're going to bend up the 9th fret on the G string. So, it's like a tone. So, up to the, what is it? An F sharp note. So, like that. And then we're going to, so that's with our ring finger. And, like, these two fingers are kind of behind that to help it kind of go up. And, again, bend with your wrist. Don't bend with your fingers. You know, you don't want to be doing this. You want to be kind of like, you know, it wants to be a pivot with your wrist. Bending with your fingers is not a good, you know, bending, like, using your finger strength is not a good idea for your hand. It'll cause problems. I'll do another video on bending another time. But, so bend up the 9th fret a tone. And nice and slow. It doesn't want to be that. It wants to be nice and controlled, nice and slow, nice and, you know, feel what's going on here. It's kind of like, you know, you want to feel that tempo of the song. So, that's the first note. And then with our first finger, which is kind of in position from here, we're going to play the 7th fret on the B. And then we're going to play the high E string on the 7th fret. So, and then we're going to go to the 10th fret on the B, and we're going to slide to the 12th fret on the B. Okay, and you can vibrato that, or you don't have to. It's totally up to you. Again, there's a lot of room here to kind of do what you want to kind of do, so to say, especially when it comes to vibrato. So you can go, or you can go. Totally up to you. Okay, so that's the first lick. That's how we're going to start it. And I say it comes. The song actually comes in. This is kind of a lead in, so it'll be like 1, 2, 3, band in. When you hit that B note here, that's where the band comes in. So you basically start the song. Okay, so yeah. So moving on to the next lick. So from here, what we're going to do a kind of walking bass kind of line, if you will, into the B. So we're going to start on the 5th fret low E, then the 6th fret low E, then we're going to get to the 7th fret low E. Okay, so and then once we get to this B here, then we're going to play the B minor chord, but we're going to hit it once and slide the chord down. And we want to be playing all the strings. You know, that kind of thing. Okay, so Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're going to use this E major triad thing that we saw earlier on, and we're going to put that on the 8th fret. So, same finger as it was earlier on. And basically what we're going to do is after we've hit that B minor chord and slid it down, we're going to then go to that chord there, which is it's an F major 7. And we're going to slide it to the E major 7 position. So it's like a semitone. Like that. So. Okay. And again, you can vibrato the chord if you want. You don't have to. I'm doing it out of habit. Okay, so the next lick we're going to do is, again, a tried and true blues favourite. Gorgeous lick. Which is always cool. So you're on the 10th fret on the high E, and you just pull off to a 7th fret high E, like that. And you can do this kind of rake thing in if you want, so where you're basically muting all the strings apart from the 10th fret on high E. So all these strings are dead, and kind of raking down from a D string. So D string dead, G string dead, B string's dead, but the high E string has the note. And then you pull off to the 7th fret high E. So, or you can just go, again, totally up to you. Do what you feel. Okay, so far this is where we are. Okay, so that's where we are so far, ladies and gentlemen. So, moving along. So now, what we're going to do a lick that leads us back to the B, because at this point in time, we're over an E major 7. So what we're going to do here is we're going to lead get back into the B minor 7. If I say major, my gravy, I'm going to pull my own ears. Okay, so from this, we're going to go. We're going to do this lick. So we're going to start by bending up the 9th fret, a tone again, but it's going to be cut off. So we're going to bend up a tone, but then kill it. So that's going to be our first note. Then we're going to go to the 7th fret G. Then we're going to go to the 7th fret D, and then we're going to slide it up to the 9th fret D. And then we're going to wait here and let the song breathe for a bit. So far we're here. And that's where we're going to stop right now. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to let the song breathe for a minute. And our next lick is going to be another tried and true blues lick, which is just going to be this hammering on, pulling off thing on the D string between the 7th fret on the D and the 9th fret on the D. So it's just going to be this. So you're just going to play the string once and then just hammer on, pull off. And you can do this for as long as you want or as short as you want. It's totally up to you. I want to leave a lot of space for you to kind of like play around, improvise, mess around, feel it where you want to go with it, okay? None of this is set in stone. Play around to your heart's content. These are just guidelines. Do what you want, so to say. So far, we are here. Breathe. And... okay, so the next part, we're going to the E major. The progression's going to the E major chord here. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit our low E string open. As soon as it changes to that 4 chord, that E, we're going to hit our low E string, and we're going to do this, which is, again, super cool. So what we're doing here is we're barring the 7th fret on the G, B, and high E strings, and we're basically sliding it while our low E is ringing out. We're going to slide the 7th fret G, B, and E up to the 9th fret G, B, and E, and then back down again. But we're only going to play it once. So it's just strum, and then just let it go back down under its own kind of power, and it will kind of like slowly fade away. So you hit the low E, and then... okay, so that's the first part. Second part, we're just going to hit the low E again, and then we're going to do this lick again. Okay, so this one's slightly different, I do believe, and I do apologise if this varies from the intro jam. Like I say, I don't feel there should be any hard and fast rules about this kind of thing. It's kind of like I would very much like to just kind of like try and what's the word? Push forward, if you will, the idea of nothing is set in stone. If you want to go, you can. If you want to go, you know, you can. If you want to go, you can. You know, everything's kind of like loose. You can kind of do whatever you want, really. It's not set in stone. Play around, feel it, have fun, and enjoy it. You know, don't feel it like, I've got to do this at this point. You don't have to do it. You can if you want. You don't even have to do this. You you know, you can just hit the low E and let it ring. You know, you can do whatever you want, and that's the beauty of blues. It's all about how you feel. You know, it's all about how you feel. So after this lick, again, which you can mess around with to your heart's content. This is just here as guidelines. It's going to go back to the B. So when we get to this note here, the B note, the chord changes will have come back to the B. Okay? So far we're here. Breathe. And then we're going to go to the 4 chord. And then okay, so that's where we are. And then we're going to do this lick, which is another way of getting back to the B as well. So that one is just the 5th fret on the A, and then we go up to the 7th fret on the E. Okay? And I'll show you how that fits in a moment. So that's where we are. So then the next lick we're going to do is a bass rundown. That's really, really cool. So we're going to go on the 7th fret low E, 5th fret low E, and then we're going to finish up on the 2nd fret low E, which will take us to our 5 chord, our F sharp major 7. There, but it's just here. Okay, so we're going to go to that one. And then our next lick is one of my favourites. We're going to go to the 12th fret here on the high E string, and it's kind of the same lick as here, but octave above, and it just, you know, totally different tonality because we're over a different chord. Okay, so we're going to bend up the 12th fret high E, and we're going to kill it again, much in the same way we did here, but same thing again here. Okay, so like that, 12th fret high E, cut it off, and then we're going to the 10th fret high E, and then we're going to the 12th fret B. Okay, so that's where we are. So the whole thing so far is this. I'll try and do it really slow. So. Let it breathe, and then. And into a 4 chord. Okay, so that's where we are. So from this lick, we're going to go do this one, which is, well, I always feel it feels and sounds like Stevie Ray Vaughan to me, you know, because Stevie did it a lot. It's, you know, it's probably Albert King or something like that, but I always associate this lick with Stevie. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go back to the 9th fret on the G string. We're going to bend that up again a tone, and it's going to be a really slow, gradual bend, this one. So up a tone to that note. And then we're going to go to the high E string after this bend on the 7th fret. So that's like this. Okay. So that's that lick. And then we're going to do this one again. Then we're going to do this one. Which is, again, coming back to the 9th fret G. You're going to bend it up and then release it. A 9th fret G. Pull off to the 7th fret G. And then go to the 9th fret on the D. And to finish this thing up all the way to the turnaround, because at this point in time we're in the turnaround, we're coming to the end, we're going to go to the 7th fret on the D. And then we're going to go to finish up on the 9th fret on the A, marking the start of the second go round, because we've now reached a 5 chord at the end of the turnaround, the F sharp major 7. Okay, so the whole thing, really slow, is this. So I'm going to try and tap out the rhythm as well on the scratch plate to give you an idea of like the tempo of it, because I wasn't doing that previously, but now we got it all. I'll try and tap it out on a scratch plate so you can kind of feel where we are, and then I'll turn on the ditto looper for the backing and let you hear it with that. Okay, so. And that's it. So, again, I felt I variated it a bit there. I don't feel that was exact. But again, that's kind of okay because, like I said, I want you to kind of mess around with this. You know, you can learn, obviously, the notes are right, but the rhythms and way they kind of feel. I want you to kind of like play around with it and mess around with it. It's really good fun to play around with and not do things exactly the same. And also reuse things in a different way. So, I guess give you an idea quick. So something like this. So again, starting with that really classic blues lick. So there we go. Variation 1. So it's basically just that, but octave higher. Okay, and just mess around, you know. And again, if you don't want to kind of go at the end, just go. You know, you let it breathe how you want it to breathe. Let it sing how you want it to sing. You don't feel pressured to do what I did, note for note. You know what I mean? To kind of have fun with it, play around with it, and just kind of use these licks that I've shown you as guidelines of where you can go with it. Like I said, I don't. The whole thing about blues is it's all about expression and personal expression. So I want to show you certain licks like this because they're really expressive. But it's up to you how you use it, if that makes any sense. Like, you know, it's like, you know, it's I can show you it, but you've got to go away and kind of earn it, how to use it, if that makes any sense. I hope that makes sense. It's kind of like a little philosophy thing I've got of, like, you know, there's no such thing as a guitar teacher, there's guitar guides. So basically I'm guiding you by teaching you these things. But it's up to you to go away, earn how to play that lick, and then earn where to use it, and earn how you express it, if that makes any sense. I hope that makes sense. I don't know if it does, but hopefully it does. But yeah, and again, play around with the timing of it as well. You know, you just have fun with it. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. It's very, very, you know, very, very straightforward, but very, very difficult all at the same time because there's so much space. You've got to let it breathe. Like I say, you can do crazy Peter Green, Gary Moore-esque blues solos, but they have to be at the right point where you kind of go crazy. And they can't just be kind of like all the way through. You know, the song has to breathe. It has to dynamically shift. And I will talk about dynamics. And Peter Green, I feel, is like the master almost of this, the dynamic thing. And, you know, Gary Moore was amazing at it as well. And there's obviously loads of blues players who are really good at dynamic. But I always class Peter as just like my standout dynamic blues player. Volume, like, you know, loud, soft, you know, just all sorts. He's just incredible. But we'll get to Peter. Like I say, we'll get to others as well. So, people of the tube, there you go. That's, you know, that's an introductory lesson to this kind of like series on kind of like, you know, playing blues, so to say. And a really cool thing about this kind of style, this slow blues style, is you can play it without backing. You know, I can play that quite happily on my own. I'm messing around there, and I'm kind of I'm taking it kind of like bit kind of like silly extents, but it's one of those styles that you can just sit and noodle and just have fun with. There's no kind of like there's never any hard and fast rules with blues. You know what I mean? It's not a case of, oh, you must do this, must do that kind of thing. Well, saying that, there are certain rules, but not really. You know, like I say, they are more like guidelines and rules. You know, not to quote Pirates of the Caribbean, but they really are. I mean, you know, it's, you've got to let, you know, some of the rules are you definitely got to let it breathe. You've got to let it be dynamic, and you've really got to be expressive. I feel being expressive is the most important part. To, like, you know, to channel your inner being into this kind of playing is just like a need. It's just a must, in my opinion. So I hope this video has made some kind of sense, and I hope it's been okay, and I hope there's something to kind of take away from it. Again, as usual, I feel like it's like this video's really, really bad, but hopefully it's okay and there's something you can kind of take away from there. So for the end of the video, everybody, for the last 5 minutes, what I'm going to basically do is I'm just going to let the loop basically play, so you can kind of mess around and play along with it for, like, you know, for 5 minutes, and then, yeah, it'll be the end of episode 1 of this series, everybody. So so I hope you enjoyed this video, everybody. I hope you're going to enjoy this series. And I hope it's going to be kind of like, I hope there's going to be something in there, you know, for anybody who wants to kind of learn to play this style. Like I say, we will be touching on different styles of blues as well as acoustic blues, be more upbeat stuff, you know, British blues, you know, all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to try and cover everything I can, really, because blues is kind of like, it's where it all comes from for me, and I just love it so much, and, you know, it's just going to be so much fun to do these videos, and hopefully they'll be okay, and hopefully you'll enjoy them, and hopefully there's something you can take away from them. As usual, I'm terrified that these videos are rubbish. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this video, everybody, and I will see you again very soon for another one. Have a great morning, afternoon, and a good evening, and jam away, people of the tube. Jam away, have fun, mess around, but beware of dynamics, feel, and just letting it breathe. Remember those 3 things, and you'll be okay, and just go for it. Just express you and have fun. So, see you again, everybody. Have a great one. Until then, goodbye now.